One of the things I absolutely loved was, I mean, I have to admit to welling up several times while reading the book. One of
Thank
the
you.
things about Ed, who was an amateur clown, and I think, and he was having, you were going to be administering his assisted death, and I think you must have left the room or something, or he left the room and came back dressed in his full clown regalia, including a red nose, and you asked him what that was about. You know, why was it? And he said that he wanted to go out laughing, and I just thought that was so charming. But it does lead into the fact that from talking to you and other practitioners, it's become sort of socially accepted now that people are having assisted deaths.
Everyone is so individual, and what's important to one person may not be as important or differently, important to someone else. So for Ed, it was really important that he be in his clown suit and, have this atmosphere, with him at this final moment. And somebody else might find that ridiculous, but there's a real beauty in recognizing that for Ed, this was key, and it was such a wonderful thing to be able to facilitate this with Ed. For someone else, it, like you say, it might be an event with champagne.
A wonderful thing to facilitate with a clown. So usually when you talk about facilitating something with a clown, you're talking about inviting a clown to a birthday party, let's say. But in this case, she's talking about facilitating his execution. State-run medicine in Canada. They are killing people and they are celebrating it. Before we really get into things, let's review a few points. First, in Canada, doctors do not just execute the terminally ill, as awful as that alone would be. Thanks to a recent court decision and a new law in Canada, doctors can kill pretty much anyone. Watch the creepy clown-killing doctor explain the standard of care that determines who is actually eligible for execution now. Watch.
Our law never required terminal illness. It never required a prognosis of 6 months. It always required, originally, that the patient be on a trajectory towards their natural death with no time limit around that, allowing more of a flexible clinical interpretation. But even that was challenged because that wasn't in our original constitutional decision by the Carter case. And so for 3 or 4 years after the law was passed, it was looked at in a provincial court, and it was decided that also needed to be struck out of the law. And with the removal of that, it opened up access to assisted dying for those who weren't necessarily dying.